Hello, fourth graders. This is Mr. Headington. I am bringing you our second day of bike safety stuff. So in our slideshow today are rules of the road and things you need to know to be a safe biker. So I'm looking at my first screen here. It says bike safe, bike smart. And I got that Bitmoji over there, somebody doing a wheelie. So I'm trying to think to myself, do I have my helmet? Should I be doing wheelies? Places for that, maybe, but not in the street. Bicycle drivers need to obey the rules of the road. Do you know what the laws about biking are? Well, bicyclists must obey all traffic laws while riding in the street. How do you know what those are? Well, most people take driver's ed when they learn to drive a car. And being a kid, you probably haven't taken that yet. So that's why we're covering it during our bike safety lessons. Helmets are recommended, but are not required by law in Wisconsin. There are other states who do require helmets for children under a certain age. I think Florida and Pennsylvania have had helmet laws for kids for a number of years. So it's your choice to put that helmet on, even though your parents might not give you that choice. I'm hoping they're encouraging you to wear your helmet. Biking in the street means you must follow the rules of the road just like any other car driver. So as you're watching down here, these are just a couple of clip art things here, but the man who is riding in his car, he has to obey the rules of the road, or he gets pulled over and gets a ticket for speeding or not stopping at a stop sign or being reckless in his car. Likewise, a person on a bike, even though they don't have a driver's license, they still have to obey the same rules and laws that the car drivers do. So if you're being reckless or speeding, I don't know if you can speed real fast on your bike over the speed limit, but really if you're going that fast, you're being unsafe anyway. But if you're not obeying the rules of the road, like following the traffic signs, you will be possibly pulled over by a police officer. Next, what are the laws about riding your bike on the street? Well, first thing you need to know is bike riders must stay on the right side of the road. And here in Sun Prairie, when I've been out either driving or riding my bike, I have seen kids and adults riding on the left side of the road. So if you're on the left side of the road on your bike, you're biking towards the direction that the cars are coming at you. It might seem okay because that's where they encourage you to walk, is on the left side of the street. But for bike riders, need to be on the same side that the cars are going on. Bikers must signal their turns by using correct hand signals. And later on in the slideshow, you'll see the hand signals that we are going to talk about. Only one rider on a one-seat bike. So a lot of times kids that I've seen who are trying to double up and put two people on a one-seat bike, they're really putting themselves at risk for falling and getting hurt, but also they could be doing something that's unsafe in the street. There are bikes that are built for 2, 3, or even 4 people or more. But each person on that bike has its own set of handlebars and owns pedals and own seat. If you ride at night, a white front headlight and red reflector are required after dark. So as the sun's going down and you might be riding back home, as long as you get your reflectors working, that's fine. And the white light is like usually a battery powered light. And I have one on my bike that flashes, and so it attracts attention. It is not a headlight to be able to shine real brightly to see where you're going. That's not what that's meant for. It's just to tell the car drivers that you are coming. It is okay to ride on the streets and bike paths and on country roads, but there should be no biking on a controlled access highway. Now, in Sun Prairie, we have the Highway 151 that goes through town from Madison past Sun Prairie and on other places. That has a fence on both sides of the highway. There's a on-ramp and off-ramp for cars, and there's no biking allowed on there. In fact, there's a sign on each of the on-ramps saying no bikes allowed. Finally, it is okay to ride on sidewalks, but you must yield to the people who are walking. And later we'll talk about what yield means. And the people on the sidewalks, they're walking. It's not a side bike. You can ride your bike on the sidewalks, but you need to be careful of the people who are on that sidewalk walking. They should not have to get out of the way for you. You would make way for them. So, do you know your traffic signs? This one should be pretty easy. Stop sign means always stop. When you're stopped, you look before going. You need to look left and right and then left again before you can go. If there's cars coming like down this road, they do not have a stop sign, and you need to wait until it is clear to cross that road. Some places have a four-way stop where everyone has a stop, and you need to stop and look to see if it's okay for you to go. So car drivers and bikers sometimes do not obey the signs, and accidents happen. In fact, that happened to me in my personal life, not on my bike, but I had a lady who ran through a stop sign, and I wound up hitting her with my car and her car. It wasn't her person, but none of us were hurt. But she was given a ticket by the police officer for not stopping at that stop sign. She said she didn't see it and didn't realize it was there. Next one, what does this one do? What does it mean? Yield means to wait your turn. If you come to a yield sign, look for traffic coming and wait until it's safe to enter the intersection. Now, yield is slightly different than a stop sign in that, yes, if there's cars coming, you should stop and wait. But if there are no cars coming, you do not have to stop at a yield sign. What do these signs mean? Well, if you see anything with a circle and a line through it, that means no. And in this case, no biking. Doesn't mean you can't have your bike there, but it just means do not ride your bike. You may get off it and push it if you wish. If you see a sign that says bike lane, in our streets here in town, we have bike lanes in some of they're marked, and that would be a designated lane in the street that's only for the bike riders. And then the green ones, it's a bike route that can be on a path or a street. It's just a designated area where they've determined it would be a safe place for people to bike. What do you do here? Well, all of these signs are kind of telling you directions. When it says do not enter, it means you do not go in that way. One way means you can only go the direction that the sign is saying. This one with the circle line through it, no U-turn. That means you can't just turn right around and go back the other way. This one means no right turn. If it's going the other way, it would be no left turn. And you might see signs like this and where it says wrong way, do not enter. And if you notice, there's an arrow with one lane coming towards you. That means the cars are coming at you. So even on a bike, you should not be riding the wrong way on a one-way street. So what do you have to do for these signs? Yellow signs are usually caution signs, meaning that you need to slow down, look. It's kind of just telling you that you need to be careful. So this one's just a pedestrian crossing. Another one for pedestrian crossing. And this one is a school zone one where there's pedestrian crossing, and pedestrians are any people that are walking. And it's telling you that for the school sign, usually there's slower traffic for the cars there and so on. And this one's not telling you there's a stop sign right there or traffic light. It means there's one coming up. So you need to be careful of those. Which way are you going? When you're on your bike, you need to signal to the other car drivers which way you're going. As a bicycle driver, you need to indicate your intention to turn or switch lanes. These same hand signals are used by car drivers to signal if they have turning lights that do not work. Know these. You will need to know them when you take your driver's test. Oops, I got it cut off there. When you're 15 or 16 years old, when you start learning to drive, you will have to do the same hand signals that you learned for bike safety. You have to do them in your car. And you might think, well, why do I have to do that if I have a turn signal light? Well, if the lights are burned out, or I've even seen people with motorcycles that do not have turn signals on the back, so they have to signal. So left turn, right turn, stop. That's all with my left hand. And the other alternative is the right turn signal with your right arm, like these. So practice those on your own. And in fact, I'll have you do that for one of your assessment parts here at the end of our lesson today, is just show me that you know your correct hand signals for right turn, left turn, stop. This one's acceptable, but this one is preferred. Like this is the one that you have to know for being in a car, and car drivers know what these signals mean because they had to take it on their driver's test. Finally, as we get to the end here, are any of these a safe way to ride? At the beginning, you saw my Bitmoji of me doing a wheelie. If you're choosing to do tricks and stunts, they should be on a safe place to do that is not in the street. I see lots of kids who like to go no hands on the handlebars. Pretty unsafe. Some kids are like, well, I can do it. Well, if you hit a rock, a bump, or anything, and you don't have your hands on the handlebars, that could go bad for you. I had that happen as a kid. I had one hand on the handlebars, and one hand was off, and I wasn't paying attention, and I hit a crack in the street, and my wheel got stuck in it, and I flipped over my handlebars and landed on my shoulder and scraped myself up pretty bad. Now here in Sun Prairie, I do believe we have like a skateboard park. I don't know if you can use your bikes on it, but there are places that have like bike parks that you can try and do your stunts on. Finally, be a safe bike driver, be cool, wear your helmet, share the road, and yield to pedestrians. So PEDS is short for pedestrians. That means if you have somebody who's crossing the street or trying to cross the street or cross the sidewalk, you need to kind of make sure that you're giving them room to be able to go where they need to go. So if you follow these simple rules, you will be a safe bike rider, and you will also be ahead of the game when you get to your driver's ed stuff that you have to do when you learn to drive a car. That's not too many years away. Have a great time. Be safe. We'll see you soon.